Hi, I'm Don Carr, and today I'm going to show you how to play Blackbird by the Beatles. Blackbird is an all-time classic. It's on the Beatles White Album released in 1968. Sir Paul McCartney wrote a brilliantly simple song and delivered a spot-on performance. And it's all him. He sang, played guitar, and provided the foot tap. It's one of my favorite songs because it instantly creates a mood and communicates it so directly like all the best music does. It's fun to listen to and just as fun to play, which is why you're here, so let's get to it. Let's start with a picking hand. This song uses a particular picking hand technique that both Sir Paul and John Lennon learned from singer-songwriter Donovan. Now, it uses your thumb to create an alternating bass pattern and one finger to play melody and add different rhythmic patterns. This technique is commonly referred to as Travis picking, named after guitarist Merle Travis, who made it popular in the 1940s and 50s. This technique really lends itself to solo guitar and guitar vocal because it creates rhythm, harmony, a bass line, and melody all at the same time. If this is new to you, it's best to think of it as two separate parts, thumb and finger, and then work on putting them together. So I'll show you the first 4 chords of the song so you can work on the picking pattern. They're all 2-note chords with the open G string ringing through every chord as a drone or ostinato. The first chord is G, and the 2 notes are G and B. And in this case, the G is in the 3rd fret on the 6th string, and I'm using my 3rd finger. And the B is the open B string. The second chord is A minor, and that uses the open A string, and C in the 1st fret, and I'm using my 1st finger for that. And then the 3rd chord is G with a B in the bass, and the 2 notes are B and D. So the B is on the 5th string, it's in the 2nd fret, I'm using my 2nd finger. And the D, I'm using my pinky on the B string, 3rd fret. So quick review, G, A minor, G with the B in the bass, and then the next chord is a G as well, but it's in a different inversion. So you slide all the way up to the 10th fret on the A string, so you get that G, and the B is the 12th fret on the B string. So watch that again. So I'm using my 3rd finger, right? And then my 2nd finger on the bass note, but I'm using my pinky as a guide to slide up. Let's focus on the picking hand. I'll show you the parts separately. Here's the thumb part first. Now remember, it alternates between the bass note and the open G string ostinato. So it's going to look like this. One more time. And here's what the melody part, or what your finger does. One more time. You'll notice in the back half of the finger part that the rhythm changed. That's where it's alternating rhythmically with the bass part. So together, it sounds like this. Again. The key here is that the thumb consistently plays every eighth note, alternating between the bass note and the open G ostinato. The melody plays 4 quarter notes, then the rhythmic pattern that alternates with the thumb. Okay, personal disclaimer here. You'll notice I'm playing with a pick and my middle finger. Most players are going to use their thumb and their first finger, right? Possibly the thumb pick. That's the way Merle did it. Now, I've been playing this hybrid picking style for a long time, and it feels most comfortable for me. But in the interest of, a lot of people that are seeing this maybe for the first time and probably won't do it this way, because believe me, it's probably easier if you're starting from scratch. Just start with your thumb and finger. I'll attempt to do it. You'll have to forgive me if it looks a little bit clumsy, but here we go. So here's that same move without the pick. And if you want to drill just a little farther down into the real Paul McCartney style, here's another slight wrinkle. Okay, so I'm pinching, right? Pulling with my first finger. Paul actually flicks. So the motion is, man, I don't even know if I can do it. It's, it's, okay, well, it's pretty obvious I can't do that, but that's not really the point. The point is that the nail striking the string has a different sound than the flesh of the finger striking the string. So if you really want to drill that far down, get that specific, go for it. My advice really is just to do it in whatever way you can. So for the picking hand, that's all you need to know to play every part of the song, just those 2 patterns. So when the chords move every beat, your thumb and finger play together, and this is called a pinch, right? A pinch makes sense, right? So when the chords last longer, your finger does the pattern that alternates rhythmically with your thumb. Now again, if this is new, give yourself some time to get used to the motion and the coordination. And like with any new technique, start slowly and play it as cleanly as possible and increase the speed when you feel comfortable. Okay, now let's work on the chords. We already know the first 4 chords, and the rest of the song follows the same pattern of 2 notes and the ostinato open G string. Now, since most of these are technically partial chords, just 2 notes, I'll call them by the chord name that's implied by the notes and the motion. Now, technically the melody and the ostinato factor into what the chord is, but I don't want to get bogged down in theory. We just need a way to reference all the chords. Okay, so let's pick it up at the next chord, and we'll do it 1 bar at a time. The next 4 are quick, 1 beat apiece. You've got C, C sharp diminished, D, and D sharp diminished. Okay, so again, that's C, C and E. So the C is with your first finger on the A string in the 3rd fret, and then the E is your pinky on the 5th fret of the 2nd string. And then C sharp diminished, which is C sharp with your 2nd finger on the A string, and then G on the E string with your first finger. And then D, which is D in the 5th fret on the A string with your first finger, and F sharp with your pinky on the 7th fret on the B string. And then D sharp diminished, which is D sharp on the A string, 6th fret, 2nd finger, and A on the 5th fret of the E string. So again, slowly. And that uses the pinch. So with your right hand, picking hand. So one more time. Okay, following that same pattern, the next two chords are E minor and E flat major. So it's E minor and E flat major. So E with your first finger on the 7th fret of the A string. And I'm using my pinky for the G because I like to use my pinky kind of as a guide for the melody part. Most of the melody you can use with your pinky. So G with your pinky. And then slide that E down to an E flat and leave the G. So the G is the 8th fret on the B string. Now this uses the alternating pattern because the chords are a little bit longer. They're held 2 beats apiece. So in context, we've got the next two chords are 1 beat each, D to C sharp diminished. And both of those use the pinch. Now those are chords we've already played, but it's just going the opposite direction. We're going back down instead of up. So it's D, 5th fret A string, first finger, pinky, B string, 7th fret. And that's your F sharp. And then C sharp diminished, so it's C sharp with your second finger on the A string in the 4th fret, and your first finger on the E string in the 3rd fret for a G. So it sounds like this, pinch pattern. Because those are 1 beat apiece. The next two chords are C to C minor. So again, we're back to our pinky on the B string in the 5th fret for the melody. That's your E. And then C on the 3rd fret of the A string with your first finger. And then just slide the E down to an E flat, 1/2 step, 4th fret. And these get the alternating pattern because they're 2 beats apiece. The next two chords are G with a B in the bass to an A7. Those are 2 beats apiece, so they get that alternating pattern with the picking hand, and they look like this. So you've got a B on the 5th string, 2nd fret with your first finger, and then a D on the B string, 3rd fret with your pinky. And then the A7 is just A and C sharp. So the C sharp is the 2nd fret of the B string, and I'm dropping down using my second finger because it gets a little cramped if you keep sliding your pinky down. So, and the open A string. Okay, so we're almost at the end of the A section, and the last chord is a D7 chord. So it's going to look like this. It's open D, and then C in the 1st fret with your first finger. Just those 2 notes, with the, of course, with the open G ostinato. So it's kind of a D sus, but you know, whatever. And it's 2 beats, so it gets the alternating pattern. So here's the A section slowly in its entirety. The other part of the song to know is the B section. It starts with 4 1-beat chords using the same pinch pattern. So we've got F, E minor, D minor, and C. Okay, so using those same basic shapes, but now we've changed the chords a little bit. So it's F, So we've got a first finger on the A string on the 8th fret, and then your pinky on the B string on the 10th fret. And that's your F. And then slide that down, first finger and 4th finger again. So you're using your pinky on the 8th fret and your first finger on the 7th fret. And slide it down again for a D minor this time, so you're using an F natural instead of an F sharp. So slide that same shape down 2 frets, so you're in the 5th fret and the 6th fret. And then for the C, you're going to play a C here on the 3rd fret and an E on the 5th fret. So again, slowly. And those use that pinch pattern because they're 1 beat apiece. The next 2 chords are B flat to C. It starts with your first finger on the 1st fret on the A string and your pinky in the 3rd fret. And slides up to C, so that same shape up 2 frets, so 3rd fret and 5th fret. And this uses the alternating pattern because these chords are 2 beats apiece. So far we've got okay, and for the next bar, you repeat what we just played. So that's that F, E minor, D minor, C. The next bar is 2 beats of B flat and 2 beats of A7 using the alternate melody picking pattern. So it looks like this is that same B flat, first finger, 1st fret, A string, and then you've got a D on the B string, so that's your pinky on the 3rd fret. Followed by the A7, so you're going to use your 2nd finger on the 2nd fret and the open A. The last chord is D7, and it's that same D7 we played earlier, so it looks like this. D, G, and C. C on the 1st fret, 1st finger, B string. So, and it's 2 beats, so it uses the alternate pattern. So here's the entire B section slowly. And there you have it. That's all the parts you need to know to assemble the entire song. Click on the link in the description for a chord chart with the form of the song and all the chord shapes. Have fun working up this amazing classic. Take your time and be patient. The payoff is totally worth it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Click here for more videos like this, or start at sweetwater.com for all your music instrument and pro audio needs.